Well, just like Julius Randle said in the postgame, thank God Jalen Brunson is back. Man, is it nice to have your superstar player down the stretch of a close game. Jesus. 109-94, Knicks beat the Rockets at the Garden. Hey, Marcus Stroman was there. That was fun. Let's talk. Audio only episode, by the way, here in 612. If you are new here, we do these on back-to-backs most of the time, just because we want to get this episode out so it has some shelf life. So didn't have time to set up everything, the video. This is going to be a quicker episode, an audio-only episode, a little less detailed. But got to live with it because we're doing a one-man show here. That's what we do here on BD4. We are a one-man team for the most part. So, 612 Knicks Rockets. Let's do it. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball. Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
U.S. trying to close the show.
She was doing a great job of feeding that. It's over.
Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to episode 612 of BD4. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. The Knicks beat the Houston Rockets at Madison Square Garden tonight, 109-94. Brunson and Josh Hart were questionable entering this game. Obviously, Jalen Brunson missed the last couple of games with a calf injury. Josh Hart had a knee injury, but they both ended up playing tonight. And they were both big in this win. The first quarter, you had Randle and Brunson were kind of the only offense for the Knicks early. They scored, I think, the first 11 points of the game. The Knicks finished the first quarter down 25-23 to the Rockets. Second quarter, the bench gave you zero offense early on. And that was until, of course, Brunson came in, started facilitating off pick and roll. And the Knicks took a halftime lead, 48-46. Found a rhythm in the third quarter. OG Anunoby was hot early on. The Knicks started working in transition, and they were up 77-69 after three. Fourth quarter, kind of a similar story at the early stages of it, where the bench was bad early. But Brunson comes in. He gets hot. Josh Hart gets red hot, so you had the Nova Knicks working. OG Anunoby gets that and-one. Josh Hart gets that finish. Those were kind of like the icing on the cake for the game. And the Knicks would win once again, 109-94. So, brief episode tonight. As I mentioned, we do these for, the first of back-to-backs because they have such a short shelf life. I want to get the episode out as soon as I can, and I'm busy with school, a little bit of work. It's hard to, it's hard to balance everything. So I like to do the first of back-to-backs as quicker, less detailed, audio-only episodes, since that's the best way to manage our time here and still get decent content out. But the first thing I want to talk about real briefly is just a continuation from a theme that's been a theme for the month of January. It's, do we see why we need bench help yet? Like, for those of you who are still riding the, we don't need to make a trade, keep all the homegrown guys because Deuce McBride can be the guy. Deuce McBride tonight had 0 points. He was 0 for 4 from the field. This was in 12 minutes. You will get more duds like this from Deuce McBride. Why? Not because I hate him. I like him. I'm a big fan of him. I wish he was in the rotation forever. But this is just who he is. This is just how he's been. Now, I'm not saying Deuce McBride hasn't improved. I think he's shown improvement. He's more confident. His pull-up jumper looks smoother. He has. But I still think I see him as an off-ball wing trapped in a point guard's frame. I've been saying this for a little bit now. And he's just... just shoot the shit. Like, do you really think Miles McBride is somebody who's going to instill confidence in you when Brunson's sitting on the bench? The 8 minutes he's not playing in a game, in a playoff game? Are you really confident that Deuce McBride can consistently give you 8 to 10 minutes of production? I mean, those minutes are very important in a playoff game. So they do need a guy. When Brunson is off the floor, and you saw it tonight, early second quarter, early fourth quarter, it was brutal. They had no offense when he left. And as soon as he checked back in, literally, he gave you instant offense. Second quarter, right when he comes in, he knocks down that floater. He's facilitating in pick and roll, kicking out, scoring himself, hitting floaters, knocking down threes off the high pick and roll, generating contact in the short mid-range. As soon as he checked in the second quarter and the fourth quarter, did the same thing. He got the Knick offense going again. So they desperately have to make that trade for that second creator, that combo guard to come in and, play alongside Brunson at times, and then most of the time point guard the second unit. They need that. They need that so they don't have these types of stretches in a playoff series. They need that so they can lessen the minutes workload on all these guys. OG Anunoby played 43 minutes tonight. He's starting to become, I heard this on Twitter and I laughed my ass off, Tom Thibodeau's Luol Deng. He really is. I mean, he's getting 5 minutes of rest at best. Jalen Brunson, every night it seems like they have to drop 30 points together. They got to play 35 to 40 minutes. They got to work so hard for baskets because the Knicks don't have any creators outside those two. You saw late in the third quarter tonight, if you paid attention closely, Jalen Brunson looked a little gassed because he had to play the entire period. You saw the game prior to this one when the Knicks lost to the Magic. Julius Randle was banged up the entire game, but he had to play through it because the Knicks needed him without Brunson. Josh Hart is being overplayed right now, right? So I think bringing in that guy would help. Bringing in a guy to... One, he's going to take Grimes' spot because Grimes is next to get traded. That report today all but confirmed it. And two, he's going to shave minutes off everyone else too. It's going to help everybody else. Hart doesn't have to play as much. OG Anunoby doesn't have to play damn near 48 minutes. Brunson doesn't have to do the same. He's going to shave minutes off of a lot of other guys. That's going to help. So if he's taking Grimes' 20 minutes that Grimes is getting right now, you take a few off Hart, OG, Brunson, etc. All of a sudden, you got yourself a combo guard. He's going to be getting 25-plus minutes for you. And, somebody who's capable of running pick and roll, knocking down a shot when the defense goes under, and scoring 10 to 12 points for you. That's perfect. That's all you need. And, of course, it'd be nice to add a second unit 5, right? The iHeart minutes are also starting to pile up. He got 41 more minutes tonight. The Knicks have two choices. Tom Thibodeau has two choices, at this moment. Either he has to overplay Isaiah Hartenstein, which is just not a sustainable formula, or he has to play Precious Achiuwa too many minutes. And I say too many because the Precious Achiuwa minutes outside of a couple of games have been pretty brutal. So this trade has to happen, and it's going to happen. And the final package I would prepare if you are a big Quentin Grimes fan. He is going to be in this deal. So it's got to be Grimes plus, obviously you're throwing in Fournier's salary and then a couple of first-round picks. Anybody who isn't prepared by then, well, that's on you. And if you listen to my show, first of all, I appreciate you very much. But staple that into your head. Like, get that ingrained in your head, if that makes sense. I don't even know if I used the right word there. But, like, Grimes, Fournier, first-round picks. Grimes, Fournier, first-round picks. That is going to be probably the package for whatever they bring in. So please get used to that so that you're not shocked and you're not overreacting like we did December 30 whatever when Quickly and RJ were out. So that's going to be the package. You know, something very similar to that, if not that precisely. And who are they bringing in? Well, you heard the Bruce Brown report. Obviously, the Siakam trade happened today, but the Knicks have been interested in Bruce Brown. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I still have my three preferences as Tyus Jones, Malcolm Brogdon, DeJounte Murray, in no particular order there. Tyus Jones, obviously, he's a pick-and-roll point guard. He can drive and kick. He's a good transition scorer. He can set up an offense and do a little bit of scoring. He's probably not my number one preference because he is expiring and you cannot flip that contract. But you could certainly flip Malcolm Brogdon. You're getting tradable salary there because he's making a decent amount and he's tied up for the next few years. Short term, well, he fits with the bench. He fits with the starters because he can play on and off the ball. You need a guy to replace Quickly. What better guy to do that with than the guy who beat him out for Sixth Man of the Year? Now, there's the concern that he's banged up a lot. He's always injured. I understand that. There's the DeJounte Murray possibility, which I feel more and more like that's going to be who they acquire. Another guy who has tradable salary for the same reasons. This is a guy who is... He's long. He's switchable. He can defend twos. He can defend at the point of attack. I think he fits best with the bench. I don't know that you want to mess with Dante DiVincenzo in the starting unit. They seem to have a good chemistry. There's the question of, does he fit with Jalen Brunson? So they probably have to stagger Tibbs. I don't know why I keep saying they. Tibbs would probably have to stagger as much as possible there. But what I'm trying to say here is we all see once again why this team desperately needs a creator to run with the second unit. Okay? Love Deuce McBride. He's not that guy. He can be part of that, part of the bench unit, but he can't be the lead playmaker among the second unit. We'll talk a little more about this game when we return from break. I want to talk about Josh Hart because he had a good game tonight. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Just a few seconds.
We appreciate you sticking around and listening so far. When you have a chance, be sure to open YouTube to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you're already watching on YouTube, be sure to head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. We appreciate your feedback and are always looking to improve. Now, with that all said, let's get you back to the show. You can also find us on social media. If you'd like, you can follow BD4 on Facebook, and we're at BD4Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. We appreciate you helping us grow more and more every day. Let's get back to it.
Welcome back. Whoa, that was a voice crack. Let's try this again. Welcome back to the show. Third attempt there. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to episode 612 of BD4. The Knicks burned the Rockets tonight at the Garden, and it was good to see. Taking care of bad teams. Josh Hart was great tonight, and you know that he showed us, me personally, why Tom Thibodeau leans into him so much. First of all, let's just get this part out of the way, I will probably never favor 30 minutes of Josh Hart, especially in an important game. Despite us consistently getting this, I'm never going to be a fan of it. The second quarter, again, it's brutal every single time because you got, what was it tonight? It was Deuce, Grimes, Hart, OG, and Precious out there. OG has been getting those minutes recently. Tibbs has kind of gone away from playing Randle with the bench because I'm assuming that he noticed there was no difference anyway since all the defense did was double the post. So he figures, well, I'll just sit Randle in those minutes and concede in a way. But like, it's, again, with Hart out there with those guys and you have him running the second unit, and he was in the second quarter that he was running offense, you're not getting offense. There are no creators in Deuce, Grimes, Hart, OG, Precious minutes. And it's like if you don't have Randle out there, you don't have his drive, his post-gravity, how about using Dante's tertiary playmaking skills? We haven't seen him be the guy in the second quarter with the bench. We've seen sometimes, like the fourth quarter, we saw Hart, and that helps with the spacing, the passing, the movement that he brings. You saw a few seconds of OG Anunoby at small ball 5 towards the end of the first half, but that lasted a few seconds. But these Josh Hart lineups where like Tibbs is pulling Dante DiVincenzo for Josh Hart in the third quarter consistently, it's tough. It happened again tonight. Again, he played great tonight, but overall, the offense, there's just a recklessness to it. Indecision and turnovers and just poor spacing and just this clunkiness. It's tough to watch more times than not. So that's my part. It's just I'm concerned about the spacing. The defense does not respect him on the perimeter, so they use that defender to send help one pass over in the action. I will say, as bad as the offense is, the defense in those three wing lineups remains elite. Now you're playing bad competition, bad offenses. Please keep that in mind. But so far, you have to go by what you have. And there's no reason to believe that a Grimes, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart trio wouldn't be great defensively. It's been an impossible lineup to score on in the half court. Tibbs finally has enough to where he can finally go big and get results with it. And he has gotten results with it. And that's the thing. Tibbs is not going to go away from something he's getting results from. You know how he operates. He's not going away from that anytime soon. We know Tom Thibodeau prefers going big, using size. He wants the defense, even if it means sacrificing offense. The Knicks have the number one defense in the league since the trade. That's across 9 games. So they went from being the 19th best defense to the 11th best defense overall this season. In just 9 games, they made that much of a jump. So it's something that he's going to keep going back to. I would expect it, expect these Josh Hart lineups where he's off the 4 and he's at the wing or at the 2 more going forward. And Knicks Film School made a great point tonight in their post-game pod. I was listening to it a little bit, didn't finish it, but I will after I listen to this. Or I'll probably do it tomorrow morning because it's fucking late. But they were saying that, John was saying, Tibbs knows the Eastern Conference has size. Boston, Milwaukee, they are big teams. So I'm assuming he was saying, he's, probably out there because of that. Hart will be out there the same way in a playoff series versus Boston. versus Milwaukee because it's very easy to match up Hunt a backcourt of Brunson and Dante versus when you're playing Hart down at the 2. So Tibbs likes Hart there because the Knicks can match up better size-wise. It's kind of a preparation. Hart can match up better one-on-one defensively. He can fly in for those rebounds when he's on 2s. He can outrun the bigger teams in transition. He does the different things and the intangibles. That's why he loves him. So tonight you saw why. And there will be games, where the spacing and the offense is so crucial where he has to make adjustments. There are going to be games like that. And when he doesn't, or if he takes too long to make that adjustment, like in the Miami series, I totally understand the frustration. And that's ultimately going to be where Tom Thibodeau is judged. I gave him the benefit of the doubt last year because he was coaching against Eric fucking Spoelstra, right? And at the same time, his number 2 option was not good, to say the least. But as time goes on, you hope that he makes some adjustments, and if push comes to shove, he doesn't just double down when it's blatantly obvious that he needs to shake things up and be more flexible. And that might be the ultimate downfall of Tom Thibodeau, right? But tonight, Josh Hart was wonderful, and so I'm going to hand him the game ball from off the bench. I thought he was fantastic. If I could just pull up his line real quick, give me 2 seconds on my phone. Josh Hart tonight, off the bench in 30 minutes, he scored 10 points, grabbed 14 rebounds, an assist, shot 5 for 11, was 0 for 2 from 3, and was a plus 10 to lead the bench. Yeah, I mean, we just said it all about him, right? Tonight he played like the 2023 Josh Hart, which we've only seen for flashes this year, but he showed you why Tibbs loves him. Flying in for rebounds. He had 5 offensive rebounds tonight. The Houston Rockets as a team had 6. So there you go. Working in transition a little bit. He had some nice finishes, big baskets in the fourth quarter. You still saw some hesitation on his threes, passing up threes. He was missing threes, but I think the big thing is he continues to pass up on threes that he cannot keep doing, and that's my whole thing. That's the whole thing about the spacing. But overall, he had a great game. Excellent game. And that is his 5th Bing Bong game ball of the season. So, good for Josh Hart. He has a game ball from off the bench. I'm sorry, he has 5 game balls off the bench. Oh, and he's got 1 as a starter, too. So he has 6 game balls. 6 game balls for Josh Hart this year. Good. Among the starters, I think this one's pretty obvious. The best Knick on the floor tonight, Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was fantastic once again. 30 points tonight. Randle had 31 points. Shot 58%. But Brunson came through down the stretch when the Knicks very much needed him. We talked about the on-off numbers with him tonight, second quarter, fourth quarter. That fourth quarter, he came through with huge baskets. The friggin' footwork from this guy. Able to get these baskets through contact. And he was missing his free throws tonight, but 30 points, 11 out of 21, 4 of 9 from 3. 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers. He was great. He was a plus 12. So, yeah, I mean, you see the difference, not just in the Knick offense with and without Brunson, but in Randle's performance. When Brunson sits, Randle's not the same player. When Brunson plays, his gravity helps Randle thrive. So, good for Brunson. He now has 15 game balls this season to lead the team. He's tied with Quickly. So with that said, we're going to head to our final break, and then we'll get back from that, talk a little bit more to wrap up our thoughts talk about what's ahead when we return from break, and then we'll get to our trivia. Stay with us. Be right back.
If you have time in the day or maybe just prefer old-fashioned reading over listening, then you can always follow along and subscribe to BD4 Blog by going to BD4blog.com. We're not on there as often, but when we do post, it's just as entertaining, opinionated, and passionate as we are on this podcast. Thank you so much. And let's keep on with the show.
Welcome. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. That was a mistake. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born. All right, sorry about that. I was a little too premature. I had one more plug to get through. Welcome back to the show, episode 612 of BD4. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. Please be sure to subscribe to the podcast, download these episodes, share it on social media with your friends. Follow us on social media if you like. That's all in the description. But you are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Now, up next, we have tomorrow night, the second of this back-to-back. Washington comes to the Garden. I mean, come on. That's a team you absolutely need to beat. There's no question. And let's do a little bit of a January check-in, because if you remember, entering January, or I think it was after the Bulls game, I was talking about how I want this Knicks team this month to go 11-5 in the month of January. I said that had to be an absolute least. The very least the Knicks can do this month must be 11-5. Because considering the very easy opponents they have on their schedule this month, considering the home-heavy schedule that they've got this month, I said that the Knicks have to have an 11-5 month. Currently, the Knicks in January are 7-2. So that would mean they have to go 4-3 the rest of the month to accomplish this little personal goal of mine. And I think that's very doable, because you've got Washington, Toronto, Brooklyn, Denver, Miami, Charlotte, and Utah to finish out January. The only road game of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that I just read is in Charlotte. The other one, Brooklyn, but that's a home game. So that's 4-3 is very, very doable. And honestly, I'd be a little upset if they didn't go 5 or 6-1, 5-2, 6-1. You know, Washington is a must-win tomorrow. Brooklyn's a must-win. I think Utah's a must-win, and I think Charlotte is an absolute must-win. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. But I would also like to grab at least one of Toronto, Denver, and Miami. You know, Denver, okay, whatever. Miami, we did beat them earlier. Maybe they split this. But I would love to get that Toronto game on Friday for many reasons, as we know. That's going to be a game that, I'm telling you, it's going to be a tough one to win, because those two guys are definitely going to be playing with something to prove. They're coming back to the Garden, I believe. Yeah, no, they're coming back to the Garden. So, should be interesting. How's OG Anunoby going to play? Who is OG Anunoby going to be on? Oh, man. Oh, man. It's going to be a fun one. But Washington is the focus. We have them tomorrow night. The Knicks are currently 24-17 on the year. It's a respectable .585 win percentage that has them in the number 5 seed at the moment in the Eastern Conference. But I mean, as we all know, fucking 4 through 8 is changing every single day. The damn Cavs aren't losing. The Cavs are not losing. You've seen some signs of regression from Indiana and Orlando, although Indiana they made a nice trade for themselves. We'll see. But Cleveland, despite the injuries, everything that's gone on over there, they have won 6 in a row. They just dismantled the Bucks. So the Bucks let the Knicks fans down tonight. They got washed. 135-95. I see that Giannis did not play. I have no idea what I'm guessing he's hurt. Maybe it's load management, which is just as big as a problem as it ever was, despite these rule changes. Dame Lillard didn't really have a great game. He only had 17. But the Cavs got 31 from Don. 33 off the bench from Gorgeous Niang. Washington tomorrow, that's it. Let's get to our trivia, wrap this damn thing up. Oh, yeah, I forget we don't have our sound effect tonight. But in this episode 612, our trivia question of the day. On Saturday, Tom Thibodeau picked up his 500th win as a head coach. How far off from 150 is he as a Knick? And I gave you an over-under to pick from. 7.5. All right. On Saturday, Tom Thibodeau picked up his 500th win as head coach. How far off from 150 is he as a Knick? Over-under 7.5 wins. All right. So one final time. Episode 612, our trivia question. On Saturday, Tom Thibodeau picked up his 500th win as a head coach. How far off from 150 is he as a Knick? Over under 7.5. So, does he have less than that? More than that to go to get to 150? But folks, with that all said, that's all we've got for this episode. 612 is in the books. Sorry, couldn't go more into detail. This was an audio-only episode just because on the first of back-to-backs, we're probably going to do this a lot this year. We've done it a few times already just because of time management, and I've got things going on, and it's going to have a short shelf life with the next game coming up literally today because it's early Thursday as I record. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really, really do appreciate you all. I'll see you in 613. If you haven't checked out 611, we talked more Yankees earlier today. We released that episode. And when I say earlier today, I mean earlier on Wednesday the 17th. We talked Yankees. So check out 611 if you haven't yet. If you're a Yankees fan, talk Yankees for about an hour. It was a good show. All right. Thank you. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks.